Detroit River rescue. Good Samaritans save 4 people from a capsized boat.
He was worn out, spent, but he was talking.
Forensic research lab scrapped.
It has to be a win-win on both sides.
Windsor's proposed facility hits a dead end. And sustainable solution proposed.
We are investing in a biodigester here in Chatham, Kent.
Turning residual waste into renewable energy in Chatham.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on CTV Windsor and AM 800. We begin tonight with a water rescue on the Detroit River near the Gordie Howe International Bridge. The call came in shortly after 11 this morning when multiple people had to be rescued. Let's go right to CTV's Robert Lothian with the details. Robert, first off, is everyone okay?
Fortunately, Stephanie, it sounds like everyone is okay. Officials say that 4 people were aboard a boat when it capsized into the Detroit River, prompting a response from the Coast Guard as well as Detroit Fire and Police. But when crews arrived, they learned that Good Samaritans were already on scene. One group of boaters was able to pull 3 of the 4 people from the water and into their boat, but the 4th reportedly couldn't climb in because the boat sat too high above the water. That's when another Good Samaritan who was out fishing stepped in. His boat, he says, sits much lower to the water, and when he arrived, he was able to pull the 4th person to safety.
So I went over in joint effort. We were able to drag him into my boat in the back end, and he was worn out, spent, but he was talking, and then the Coast Guard and the Sheriff's Office showed up.
Now, Detroit Fire says that 3 people were treated at scene but refused a transport to the hospital. A 4th person was taken to a Detroit area hospital to be treated, possibly for hypothermia. Now, at this time, the Coast Guard is sending out a reminder that while it may be warm out, people should still check the temperatures before they're going out on their boats, saying that it might feel warm in the air, but the water temperatures can still be quite frigid, and if someone were to fall in, that can create a serious health risk. Stephanie.
Okay, on location with our top story tonight, Robert Lothian, thank you for this. In other news, Canadian Foreign Affairs officials have requested Israel investigate the death of a Windsorite in Lebanon. The Canadian press reports Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand issued formal notice for Israel's envoy in Ottawa to undertake a full and transparent investigation into the killing of a Canadian on Lebanese soil. The family of 38-year-old Hassan Haidar says he was killed by an Israeli drone on April 10th in its ongoing military campaign in the country. Anand's spokeswoman says Israel's foreign affairs minister has promised a full investigation. A tense day in Blenheim today. 3 schools near Chatham Street South were placed on a lockdown after a witness saw someone walking nearby with a long gun. School officials reported the concern to authorities who investigated. Chatham-Kent police say their investigation led them to a man who was in possession of a BB gun, not a restricted rifle. No one was hurt and the lockdown was subsequently lifted. Also out of Chatham tonight, a former officer has been charged by the Special Investigations Unit with 3 offenses, including sexual exploitation. You can find the details on our website, ctvnewswindsor.ca. And in London, police have arrested a woman wanted for robbery, assault, and forcible confinement. Alexis Regine Gibbs Rogers was apprehended at a hotel on Exeter Road and brought back to Windsor to face charges. Police are still investigating the April 16th home invasion and robbery on Lausanne Road. They are still looking for 3 men they believe to be responsible. The Forensic Research Lab in Kingsville has been abandoned by both the town and the university. According to the mayor, public outcry has left both sides unwilling to proceed with the taphonomy site.
And there's a lot of respect for this research. This is important research.
But studying how human bodies decompose to better equip law enforcement is not going to happen in Kingsville.
We don't think this is going to be a good fit for our community.
Mayor Dennis Rogers says reaction has been largely negative.
Not everybody's going to be happy with the decisions you make, and that's one thing that we got to wear as council members, is that, theoretically every decision you make, half the people aren't going to be happy with it. But, I think this was definitely more than 50%, and you saw the process play out.
And according to Rogers, the University of Windsor said they were no longer interested in pursuing the project in Kingsville. In an interview last week, researchers said Kingsville would have been a perfect geographical location.
It's extremely different to most of Ontario and particularly to most of Canada. So we couldn't take data from the Quebec facility, for example, and apply that to an investigation here, because a body would degrade very differently.
It has to be a win-win on both sides.
The town signed a memorandum of understanding last year with the university. It's not clear what that means for the future.
Now the researchers, they're going to explore other options, and I think that was a good decision.
In a statement sent to CTV News, the university confirms they will not be moving forward with the proposal and that they respect the town's concerns. To Chatham-Kent now, where council is days away from deciding on a proposed waste-to-energy project worth roughly $160 million. A plan the mayor says could generate long-term revenue, but one councillor warns it comes with too much risk. Reporter Chris Campbell has more and joins us in the studio tonight. Chris.
Yes, Stephanie, the proposal would see Chatham-Kent partner with Greenfield Global to turn organic waste into renewable natural gas and fertilizer. But with a final vote set for April 27th, debate is intensifying over whether the investment is worth it.
It's being pitched as a made-in-Chatham-Kent solution to waste and a potential revenue generator.
So we are investing in a biodigester here in Chatham-Kent. It takes waste from Greenfield Global and from our PUC and turns it into natural gas and fertilizer.
A project worth $160 million, with $60 million already accounted for from other levels of government, with Greenfield owning 60% and Chatham-Kent owning 40%. Mayor Darren Caniff says the municipality's share would be about $16 million, shifting funds from lower return investments into a project expected to generate significantly more.
It's expected to earn anywhere from 14 to 31%. Our GICs earn 6%.
He also points to cost savings, including avoiding future infrastructure spending and cutting operating costs.
Even if the worst case scenario, the entire 16 disappeared, we've made money.
The mayor says a third-party review by Deloitte supports the business case and warns the municipality could lose out on government funding if it doesn't move forward.
If we don't commit to it, the government's going to look at saying reallocating those funds to another investment.
But not everyone at council is convinced.
What are the risks? Like, we've been told, we do have some information, but it's all been good news, of course, right? So the questions that I have is, has there been enough public input? And I would say the answer to that is no.
Councillor Michael Bondi says the project raises too many unanswered questions and argues the municipality shouldn't be taking on the risk.
I think the private sector should own 100% of it. We can be the customer. That works.
He also calls the timeline rush.
Well, it's an 11th hour decision. We have to decide on Monday or else the whole thing goes boom. I don't like that very much.
And questions whether the investment is the right priority.
This is a massive investment of tax money that I think is misplaced. I don't see it. We fix the roads. Really, honestly, like this time of year, fix the roads.
Council is expected to make a final decision on Monday, April 27th, with millions in funding and the future of the project potentially on the line. Stephanie?
Okay, we will continue to follow this closely. Chris Campbell tonight. Thank you, Chris. Council, meantime, in Essex has deferred their decision on a new tourism tax. Council voting unanimously on Monday to push what's called a MAT tax to the next term of council. The proposal adds a 4% fee to hotel and short-term rental stays. Added revenue would be split between the town and Tourism Windsor, Essex, Pelee Island. Essex could generate around $150,000 every year from this tax. Deputy Mayor Rob Shepley proposing the deferral to hear more feedback from residents and businesses.
I'm probably more leaning in support of it. I think I can certainly see the good of it, and I can see how it would be very beneficial to the town. However, if while I'm out knocking on doors, I hear a different push from the residents and business owners, I can certainly take that into consideration too when I make that decision.
It's full steam ahead meantime for a proposed jet ski rental business at Colchester Harbor. The decision follows weeks of debate, with residents raising concerns about safety, parking, and congestion. Jetwade Inc. plans to operate 3 rental jet skis, with users required to have a temporary boating license and training. The company says it will monitor the watercraft with speed limits and a remote shutoff feature. Some harbor users remain skeptical, while others say it could boost tourism. The approval allows for a 1-year lease with a launch expected this summer.
I'm very excited for what the future holds. Me and him both have been working on this very, very hard and been imagining and visioning this business for months and months. So we're very excited for the next few steps.
Some people anxious to get on the water as mild temperatures come. Gary Archibald joins us for a first look at the weather tonight. And Gary, tonight it's looking quite quiet.
Quiet for the most part. We do have this little wave disturbance through the atmosphere that's moving through the region. The worst of it's likely over Michigan into Indiana, Ohio. We have seen a few showers to the north and east of us. I think that temperatures, by the way, during the daytime, just like today, could reach 20 degrees. It's going to be nice for the next couple of days. Beyond that, a bit of a ruffle in the forecast, and the temperatures will be up and down, and we've been experiencing that of late. I'll break down what you need to know, a complete weather story. My forecast coming up in moments. For now, I'll send it back to you at the desk. Stephanie?
As we first mentioned on Monday, Bird Canada saying they're removing e-scooters and e-bikes from across Windsor. The company has not been able to reach an extension with the city to continue operations. All 450 scooters and 100 bikes will be picked up and stored in a warehouse as of midnight. Similar to the winter, the app used to operate the equipment will be turned off. More than half of the transportation company's 20-person Windsor team has been laid off. Since hitting the road in Windsor, the company has logged nearly 500,000 trips across the city. Bird remains adamant they're hopeful for a deal to stay in Windsor. A Windsor couple shared a finish line and a dream in Boston on Monday. After 3 attempts, a husband finally qualified for the Boston Marathon, but the bigger surprise was waiting for him. Unknown to him, his wife entered and qualified and waited until after he earned a spot to tell him, setting up for an unforgettable run together. CTV's Bob Belichico has the story.
Definitely a bucket list item, and we were able to check that off.
The Boston Marathon is one of the toughest races in the world to qualify for, let alone get into. Eric Chauvin qualified 3 times, but his name was never pulled in the lottery.
Even if you're good enough, you're still not good enough.
Mike Aubin, who finished his 9th Boston on Monday, knows exactly how Chauvin feels. Being left on the sidelines has happened to him as well.
Sometimes you got to be under the standard by 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes.
With 15 marathons under his belt, Chauvin kept trying and didn't leave the dream behind.
I just kept, grinding and grinding, and sure enough, I got it.
But the biggest moment still awaited. Secretly, his wife Stefanie entered and qualified for the marathon and waited till Eric was officially in before telling him.
She kind of surprised me and said, "Oh, well, by the way, I also registered too." And I said, "Oh, no way."
I wanted to surprise him with not only the fact that he was going to Boston, but we were able to actually do it together.
They ran the course together, side by side. Having run the marathon 2 years ago, Stefanie helped her husband through the course.
20 years down the road, me finishing 5 minutes faster or him finishing before me is not going to matter. I really wanted to finish and cross that finish line with him.
Stefanie and Eric accomplished their goal and crossed the finish line holding hands.
Nothing can ever duplicate that feeling.
It was a full circle moment for the couple as well. They met at a race a few years ago in Detroit.
It's like a true love story. Absolutely it is, yeah.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Now, would you ever run a full marathon? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked, have you ever used a Bird e-scooter? Of more than 650 votes, 95% say no. They've never taken a Bird scooter for a spin. A longtime Broadway classic is coming to the Chrysler Theater this Thursday through Saturday.
New York, New York, it's a business place. Whoa, hey, look who's coming back.
On the Town has been a classic since its original Broadway run in 1944. The story concerns 3 American sailors on a 24-hour shore leave in New York City during World War II. And with comedic and romantic flair, a 20-piece orchestra accompanies the ensemble cast of student performers. Tickets are available via the Chrysler Theater box office for the shows that run April 23rd until the 25th.
I am extremely lucky to be working with these guys. They are hardworking, patient, talented. They follow direction very well. And they're a joy to be with every day. We've laughed a lot. There's a lot of comedy in the show, and they have embraced it, and we laugh a lot as a group, as you can tell.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Do you have a great local event you want us to know about? Text us the details to 10400. You can also send photos and video. Still ahead on Windsor's News Leader, the latest on the investigation into the death of a Canadian tourist in Mexico. Then later, the Prime Minister assembles a team from the private sector to strategize CUSMA talks this summer. And Spitfire strategy. How is Windsor planning to take down the Kitchener Rangers in the Western Conference Final? That's tomorrow at 6 on CTV News. We are gaining more insight into the mass shooting yesterday at a popular tourist site near Mexico City. A gunman went on a rampage, killing a Canadian woman, wounding another 12 people of various nationalities. Authorities say the attack was not spontaneous. The shooter came prepared, and now there are videos circulating on social media. CTV's Adrian Gobriel on what we know about the shooter and his possible motive.
Gunshots can be heard piercing through the air as screams echo from the base of the Teotihuacan pyramids as tourists run for cover. This all taking place at one of the most popular tourist destinations on the planet. The shooting was initially reported at 11:20 a.m. on Monday. This web camera recording of the historic site shows the first moments as visitors began to run for their lives. Let's go. A closer look shows the gunman pacing, holding the .38 caliber firearm he used to kill one Canadian. The deadly attack injuring at least 13 more, including a 29-year-old Canadian woman and a 6-year-old boy from Colombia. The Teotihuacan pyramids are located here, roughly 45 kilometers northeast of Mexico City, making it a popular day trip from Mexico's capital. The shooter has been identified as 27-year-old Julio Cesar Yasso of Mexico. Seen here carrying a backpack, Mexican authorities say inside they found pamphlets related to an infamous U.S. mass shooting.
Is there a shooting up here at Columbine High School?
The Monday attack coinciding with the April 1999 anniversary of the Columbine High School massacre in Colorado, where 2 students opened fire, killing 13 classmates and 1 teacher. Today, Mexico's president shared her condolences with the family of the Canadian killed, as did Prime Minister Mark Carney.
We're working with Mexican authorities on the situation, but it's a sad day.
It's a day that many witnesses who survived are still coming to terms with.
Some of the tourists started screaming, ducking, and running.
While some ran, others jumped to a landing below, alongside the pyramid.
We kind of try to hold on with our hands and kind of extend our full body length and then let ourselves drop from there.
Following roughly 10 minutes of terror, the Mexican National Guard shot Ramirez in the leg as he climbed near the pyramid's peak. That's where he turned the weapon on himself and took his own life. With Mexico set to co-host the upcoming FIFA World Cup alongside the United States and Canada, there are now calls for tighter security measures in that country. Ottawa is calling on a prompt and thorough investigation. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Turning to the war in the Middle East, American President Donald Trump says he does not want to extend the ceasefire with Iran ahead of potential second round of talks aimed at ending the war.
I don't want to do that. We don't have that much time because by the time both parties get there, as you know, they just got the okay to go forward, which I knew they were going to do anyway. I mean, I don't think they had a choice. They have to negotiate.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and other top officials are expected to leave for Pakistan today ahead of the second round of negotiations. The Associated Press is reporting both countries have signaled they are set to return to Pakistan for talks. However, there's no word on specific timing for these negotiations. However, the U.S. delegation and Iran's top negotiator are expected to arrive in Islamabad tomorrow. Meanwhile, U.S. forces boarded an oil tanker that had been sanctioned for smuggling Iranian crude oil in the Indian Ocean today. The Pentagon says U.S. forces boarded the vessel without incident. The U.S. has tried to limit the movements of any vessel tied to Iran or suspected of carrying supplies, which could help that country's government. Back home, there's turbulence at Queen's Park around the province's purchase of a private jet. Doug Ford says his government will be selling the plane, but he continues to face questions about the timing of this major investment. Siobhan Morris reports.
5 days after a shaky landing for the Premier on the purchase of a jet for government business, Doug Ford says he's sorry. Not for buying the $29 million plane.
I apologize for not communicating it properly. I still feel it was the right decision.
The Premier feels he's convinced more Ontarians of that. But he won't be making a double U-turn and keeping the 10-year-old Challenger. It's still for sale, even though he feels
it's kind of embarrassing that a province our size, geographically and economically, that we have no government plane.
Doug Ford's news conference baffled the opposition.
I don't think he gets it yet. And the reason he doesn't is because he is so out of touch with the people of this province.
The Premier confirms his cabinet endorsed the big buy unanimously.
It just shows you how out of touch and out of control and tired and worn out that this government is.
The Premier insists the jet wasn't for him alone. He envisioned the 12-seater being used to move firefighters or victims of disaster.
I want to evacuate the elder, the children or whatever. I know it's small, but if you can take 2 or 3 trips real quick.
A justification opposition leaders see as pure spin.
This jet can't even land at Billy Bishop Airport in downtown Toronto. How's it going to service Northern Ontario?
The Premier does have access to OPP planes, but Ford says they aren't always available. And the turboprop?
You can sit there and put your arm on the other side and touch the plane, and you're bouncing up and down, and I'm praying to God that we land. It's terrifying.
Ford says flying commercial gets complicated with flight delays and cancellations and security concerns from his OPP detail.
Guy got into the rocket field, and next thing you know, he's calling me names at 30,000 feet in the air.
No excuse, says Marit Stiles.
Well, grow up. You're the Premier of the province. You don't think I get hassled occasionally? Big whip. Big whoop. This is a privileged position that we have been given.
A position opposition leaders don't believe the Premier is taking seriously.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The head of CUPE Ontario is on leave amid an investigation into workplace climate allegations. CUPE Ontario says President Fred Hahn will be on paid leave for the length of this investigation. The union, which represents more than 300,000 workers, says an independent investigation began after allegations were made by a staff member. No other details about the allegations have been released. CUPE Ontario says Hahn supports the investigation and it will not comment further until the investigation is finished. Apple, meantime, says John Turnus will be taking over from Tim Cook when the Apple CEO steps down in September. Turnus joined Apple in 2001 and has played a key role in reigniting sales of Apple's Mac computers, which have gained market share against PCs. At 50, Turnus is the same age Cook was when he took over CEO duties from Apple's co-founder Steve Jobs. Apple says Cook will become the company's executive chairman. Prime Minister Mark Carney has revealed the list of people who will help the government prepare for upcoming CUSMA talks.
I'm very pleased to have that group. It's a diverse group, leaders from the union movement, experts in industry, and CEOs in finance and across the economy.
The council includes former Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole and former Liberal cabinet minister Ralph Goodale, among others. Private sector participants include Unifor National President Lana Payne and Flavio Volpe with the automotive parts manufacturers. The new group will be chaired by Internal Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc. Canada's main stock index was weighed down by losses in the base metal sector. In Toronto, the TSX dropped 552 points. In New York, the Dow fell 293. The Nasdaq lost 144. The Canadian dollar is up 0.03 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold lost $109 an ounce and oil gained $2.25 a barrel. A warning from Canadian doctors about artificial intelligence. Stay with us. Lots more to come on CTV News at 6.
I think I've mentioned this before. $15,000 is up for grabs. That's in terms of this wonderful upgrade to your backyard. Our good friends, very talented people at Plantscape Windsor. We need a photo. We need your name, of course, and a way to contact you, because you could be that one person to win this contest. Take pictures now. Do it. Go ahead. There's a commercial break coming. We'll come back. See you.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
We are experiencing those more milder temperatures. Gary joins me again for an extended look at the weather.
You're right. With passing showers still a possibility as I speak, but I think generally speaking, things will quiet down in the next couple of hours. They've been in the vicinity of the upper Midwestern U.S. states, so Wisconsin, Michigan proper, and then moving a little bit further east. They've been to the northeast of us along the eastern shores of Lake Huron. We've been cloudy through the latter stage of today. Reached a high of 20.6. Actually, that's unofficial. Some reports that we've exceeded 21, getting closer to about 22. The air quality is still in that good range, which means the lower the number on a scale of 1 to 10. We're at a 3 today. We were sunny for the most part early, and the air quality was closer to about a 2, in fact. So, in general, quiet night. Passing shower, about a 30% chance of that, but it's been mild. 21 still holding at the airport, 15 degrees, a bit cooler in Chatham-Kent. Hey, guess who's heating up? We're cooler than the West, and the West last week was frigid. Looking at temperatures in the low to mid-20s in southern Saskatchewan. You can see this front, though, that's eliciting, triggering, if you will, across parts of southern Ontario and southwestern Michigan. Some thunderstorms. Cold front meets warm air, sort of wedges, provides lift, and that catalyst, if you will, can turn clouds nasty and develop some significant rain and thunderstorm potential. If we do get clipped by it, it's not a lot of rain, and I doubt we'll see severe weather in the next 2 to 3 hours. So that's good news. And tonight, for most of us, it's a quiet one. There's about a 30 to 40% chance of showers. And I have to say this, I think it's a little elongated, this particular computer forecast, suggesting it might linger until midnight. But I'm going to put it up there because there hasn't been a general consensus. We run a lot of simulations. But the good news is that tomorrow we're waking up to some sunshine. We're going to see a high of 21 in the afternoon after some fog dissipates. By the way, fog never burns. It's water vapor condensing into cloud form, that is, at the surface. It dissipates. It evaporates. It doesn't burn. Otherwise, water wouldn't be effective in putting out fires, would it? Thursday, sunny. 21, 18, clouding over with possible showers Friday and still showering cooler Saturday, 17, 17, and 16, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, a mixture of sun and cloud. That's Your 7-day forecast, courtesy of Intercare Siles.
A flood of misleading information has doctors concerned, with more and more Canadians going to artificial intelligence for health advice. A new survey reveals much of the information is putting patients at risk. CTV's John Vanavalli-Rao on the message the CMA wants to get out.
I can do almost anything that could possibly be asked of me.
In videos posted by the Canadian Medical Association, doctors can be seen urging caution about the use of AI.
Do you ever use ChatGPT for health advice?
Something a lot of people do when they have a medical issue.
I think it's just a quick way to get a little bit of quick advice.
If my back starts hurting, I'm just going to go on ChatGPT, for example, and I'm going to be like, I did this and my back hurts. And then it's going to start giving me a whole list of things, and I'm just like, okay.
But physicians warning, while often free and fast, the advice can also be wrong.
If individuals decide to go online, I would say they have to be very curious and very cautious.
In a survey of more than 600 Canadian doctors, 97% said they'd had to intervene to prevent harm or address consequences after a patient followed false or misleading health information online, including from an AI.
So the problems are that the patient thinks they have one diagnosis when in fact they don't. They may have delayed treatment. They may have tried treatments that didn't work.
Some say they've turned to an AI because they don't have a family doctor.
I have a friend who would ask ChatGPT. Her reasoning was it's too much hassle to go, like book a doctor's appointment.
But the Canadian Medical Association says patients should always get a human expert to weigh in. In a recent study published in the journal BMJ Open, health questions were posed to 5 major AI models. 30% of the responses were deemed somewhat problematic. 20% were considered highly problematic.
They're not always accurate, and your best bet is to talk to a healthcare professional or at least understand the sources when you're online looking for information.
And while AIs continue to rapidly improve, experts say they still struggle to reason like a human doctor. John Vanavalli-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
And along these lines, Canadians are being warned about the risks of injectable peptides sold online, despite an alert from Health Canada. These products are gaining popularity, promoted for everything from weight loss to anti-aging. CTV's Kathy Lee now on the risks to consider.
These are Masotti.
The powder in these small vials are peptides, increasingly popular and promoted for a range of health benefits. For some Canadians, like Adam Blackwell, a personal trainer and nutritionist, they're part of his routine.
I use peptides for a plethora of reasons: body recomposition, recovery, cognitive health, mitochondrial health, longevity.
Marketed for muscle growth, anti-aging, and weight loss. The vials are mixed with water and then self-injected. Drugs like Ozempic, a peptide-based medication, have helped propel peptides into the mainstream. But beyond a handful of approved drugs like Ozempic, most sold online are unregulated, raising concerns among health experts.
Is it contaminated? Did it come from some, lab in, some third world country that didn't have proper sterile processes? Is what they're saying on the label truly even inside the bottles?
Health Canada says in the last 6 months, it's received 4 complaints of adverse reactions where an unauthorized peptide was believed to be the suspected cause. Now it's advising consumers to only buy and use authorized health products approved by the agency. Online influencers have helped make peptides popular, but one Canadian wellness professional says she turned down a request to promote.
I'm not a physician. I'm definitely not qualified to educate or sell, and it's something that you inject into your body.
Understanding the risks, Blackwell emphasizes the importance of sourcing products carefully.
We have pharmaceutical-grade peptides with, physicians that are advising. We have clinical support with a lot of these peptide companies. You can't just order something from this mysterious website, this mysterious vials. You have to make sure, again, like third-party testing, the batch testing, the purity, the outsourcing, certificates of analysis. Those are huge things to look for when purchasing peptides.
Health Canada is urging people to report potential non-compliant or unauthorized health products. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Coming up after the break, what a downtown ice sculpture has to do with a new music drop. Municipalities are looking at different ways to address the rising cost of living, with Toronto among them, looking into city-run grocery stores. Now, an Ottawa councillor wants the capital to explore the idea as well. CTV's Kimberly Johnson reports.
After decades in the business, Alfonso Curcio doesn't think a city should run a grocery store.
How are they going to run a grocery store? And how can they do it differently than the Loblaws and the Costcos and the Walmarts of the world?
An Ottawa councillor wants the city to explore the development of a municipal food strategy, which could possibly include a city-owned grocery store in an effort to improve food access.
The profit margin, say it's 4%, right? The customer's not going to even see that, the cash.
But the owner of Farmers Pick on Prince of Wales Drive says profit margins are small, while the cost of doing business is rising.
Unless they're not going to pay any property taxes, not going to pay any gas or any hydro, besides that, how can they operate it any differently? Because minimum wage for everybody, right?
In a motion for Wednesday's council meeting, Councillor Marty Carr recommends council direct staff to explore a municipal food strategy that would look at food access, waste, production, and distribution. Carr's motion says the report would examine improvements to food access, including establishing food hubs and city-owned grocery stores. Last month, Toronto City Council approved a motion for the city to establish 4 not-for-profit city-run grocery stores. Sylvain Charlebois with the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University tells the Morning Rush with Bill Carroll that these types of stores can be used to address food deserts.
They're probably going to open up these stores in several downtown cores where theft, homelessness, drugs are a huge problem, and that's why grocers are just kind of avoiding downtowns these days.
I've never heard of anything like that, to be quite honest, but I think it would be a great initiative to begin with.
I think the city might better use its resources to support existing measures, such as food banks and supporting measures to support local farmers.
Kimberly Johnson, CTV News.
Canadian rapper Drake has dropped a new stunt on downtown Toronto.
I was watching it on Twitter and everything like that yesterday. People trying to burn it, people trying to smash it down. It's awesome.
This album, Iceman, has been teased for so long, and everyone's eager to, for it to release.
Take a look. It's a massive ice sculpture, and somewhere inside is the release date of Drake's next album titled Iceman. At one point, hundreds of people showed up with some tools and even fire to chip away at the ice. Toronto police were called in to manage the crowd. It was too cold for much melting overnight, but Toronto is expected to warm up throughout the week.
There's love in letting go.
Warren Zeters is coming to Windsor in August, and Caesars has just announced the show will now be open to fans of all ages. The Pennsylvania native is currently one of country music's newest and most promising artists. Go to our website for ticket information. And today would have been the 100th birthday for Queen Elizabeth II. King Charles marked the occasion today, releasing a video message about his mother.
Queen Elizabeth's promise with destiny kept shaped the world around her and touched the lives of countless people across our nation, the Commonwealth, and beyond. Her near century was one of remarkable change, and yet, through each passing decade, through every transformation, she remained constant, steadfast, and wholly devoted to the people she served.
The Queen was born back in 1926. She was married to Prince Philip in 1947. Her reign started in 1952, and she was Britain's longest-serving monarch until her death in 2022 at the age of 96.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. Brentwood Recovery Home transforms back into the glamorous Elmwood Casino for one unforgettable evening. Celebrate the past, support recovery. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kentner. Now, Melanie, let's talk more about the Premier and his, well, some say very expensive jet.
Yeah, so Doug Ford was grilled again today about the jet he purchased. Ford told the media the jet would have been a useful tool to travel across the United States to speak with decision makers stateside. He said the Prime Minister has asked premiers to continue their discussions with U.S. counterparts. In that news conference, Ford mentioned he would be coming nearby soon.
We're going down to Michigan to open the Gordie Howe Bridge, so let's cross our fingers that the president doesn't close it down.
So sounds like Ford will be in the area for the opening whenever that happens, Stephanie.
Okay, and we also have an online story of note, Melanie, with a reminder from OPP after several thefts coming from vehicles.
Yes, Essex County OPP officers are reminding the public about theft prevention and property security after another round of those preventable thefts. Police say items were stolen from unlocked vehicles in the county over the past week. Some theft prevention tips include double-checking that your home and car are locked before leaving and making security improvements with things like cameras to discourage intruders. And in our social spotlight tonight, another step forward for the Gordie Howe Bridge. Windsor Fire and Rescue posted this picture to social media yesterday. Crews from both sides of the border were training for emergency response on the bridge. Also giving a shout out to customs officers who are also in the middle of training to welcome travelers. At last check, bridge officials say they are still testing the lighting on the bridge and still no date for its opening, Stephanie.
Yeah, as you can imagine, these first responders definitely have to work in collaboration in case, thankfully, nothing does happen on the Gordie Howe Bridge, in order to keep everyone's safety. So
that's right. Lots of work ahead.
Okay, that is what's happening now. Thank you, Melanie. "150 years of music." We take you to Kitchener for practice with Canada's oldest non-military band. Blue sky, nice breeze.
Yeah.
A good day.
It was a good day. A bit cool through the early stage, pre-dawn, but warmed up nicely. Got to about 21 degrees and counting. The official record of today's stats will be available tomorrow. We might even have reached 22, maybe even 23 in some areas. No records, but well above seasonal. Speaking of being above seasonal, 21 tomorrow, mostly sunny. Morning fog patches dissipate. It's a windy day, just like today. Sunny on Thursday, still looking good, 21. Then 18 and possible showers, clouding over Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 14, 17. Monday, Tuesday, 17, 16. This time next week, we should be closer to about 15, 16. So some moderation and temperatures becoming more normalized, if you will.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Finally, tonight, keeping the beat for 150 years, the Kitchener Musical Society Band is marking a major milestone. CTV's Colton Weens has more on the group's history and their plans for the future.
Ron Bear has been a Kitchener Musical Society band member for 54 years. One of the longest active members, he says it's an honor to be just a small piece of the band's now 150 years.
It's actually amazing. I've enjoyed it ever since I was 14 when I first started, and I keep on going, right?
Teachers, doctors, farmers, moms and dads. It's amazing. And the fact that we've been around for 150 years is astounding.
The Kitchener Musical Society Band traces its official existence to 1876, where it once performed turn-of-the-century military marches.
Which I recall when I was first starting with the band. We stopped doing that many, many years ago now. Definitely don't miss the Santa Claus parades in November when it's freezing cold out.
1, 2, 3, and...
Now, they're more of a concert band that plays a little bit of everything.
I've been a part of this band for almost 20 years, and I love community music making.
We all just love playing music, and it's great to play live music.
According to Tominski, who's been in the band for 45 years, the Kitchener Musical Society is the oldest non-military concert band in Canada.
We played for royalty at one time. So we've been everywhere and anywhere.
The band is made up of 60 dedicated woodwind, reed, brass, and percussion players who gather weekly to hone their skills and to keep the 150-year history alive. All members are volunteers, and they're always looking for any new members with at least high school level playing experience.
If you play an instrument, come on out and join us. It's a wonderful thing to make music.
And this being the 150th year, they've planned a celebration concert for June and even commissioned a song that they will perform as part of the celebration.
Debut our commissioned piece of music that we had Robert Buckley write for us. Robert Buckley obviously is a very famous Canadian composer, so it'll be the world premiere of his music.
It tells the story of a spark of creativity and community joy to bring us all together.
And to celebrate 150 years, the band is holding a free concert at the museum in downtown Kitchener on Sunday, June 14th. Tickets can be found on the museum's website. Colton Ween, CTV News, Kitchener.
Gary has mentioned some of those musicians, doctors, teachers, farmers, and music is just such a great outlet if you just want to, you know, step away from those hours.
You're an accomplished pianist and humble, of course, but you studied for many years, very accomplished. I played the trombone in middle school. So my brother is an accomplished guitarist, and yeah, I just don't seem to have
And
the
I love the
skills.
fact that they're just asking if you want to join. You only need high school experience, so why not? Why not?
Stefanie Masotti.
On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca. She plays piano. She's really good.
Sanjay Maru will be here with your only late local newscast tonight at 11.
I can play trombone.